It's the Pioneer Agronomy Update. I'm Randy Conan along with field agronomist Kristie Sundeen with Pioneer. We're here at Brocket, North Dakota, and one of Kristie's plots. And Kristie, you've got this plot in the ground already. Tell me a little more about the plot.
So this plot actually ranges from a 60-day maturity all the way up to an 85-day maturity. We got it in the ground the middle of last week, and if you take a look, they're already starting to germinate. Actually coming out of ground much faster than I thought. So hopefully we can get out here and get the burn down put down before this stuff starts coming out of the ground.
Yeah, kind of surprising to see the radical on that one already.
Yeah, I know. Things are moving. Our ground temperature is kind of warmed up pretty quickly across most of my territory. I cover northwest Minnesota and northeast North Dakota, going all the way to Rolla on the North Dakota side. And our ground temperatures have really warmed up over the last, I would say, 5 to 6 days.
Most guys able to get in the field?
Yeah, for the most part, Minnesota is actually ahead of us. I would say that they've been going strong for at least a full week. They actually had some corn going in the ground like the 8th and 10th of May. And so we've got corn actually coming up out of the ground over in that direction. As we go west, much slower to get started. We actually, for the most part, I would say over the weekend, Monday, things have really started to roll around these areas. And then things slowed down a little bit in that New Rockford to Pheasant area because of heavy rains. But they're actually starting to get back in the field too.
One thing I notice here too is just that the topsoil is really dry the first inch or two, and then it looks like there's plenty of moisture below.
Yeah, there's moisture below. Actually, when we planted the field and I was checking depth, we were at 2 to 2.25, and I was looking and thought about backing it off because it's a little deep. And then we were in moisture, and I'm just like, nope, I'm just gonna leave it. Like the top was actually already starting to dry off pretty heavily, and with the winds and the 70 to 80 degree temperatures, I just left it at that 2 inches. I wanted to stay in moisture.
Sure. With this type of a season, everybody feels like it's so late, but really it doesn't seem that's not that late when you look at the calendar.
Yeah, you just need to look at last year. I think that's, we all look at last year and we know we were late last year, but, you talk to a lot of growers and even here in Brocket, we're 10 days well ahead of last year. So we're actually in a much better position than we were the year before. So as long as we can miss the rains, I know there's a chance Wednesday night, and I think there's even some now starting to pop up, possible thunderstorms next week. If we can miss substantial things, there's a good possibility we could be done by Memorial Day weekend.
That'd be awesome. Do we, with this crop germinating as fast as it is, anything special we need to do with pre's?
Yeah, I mean, big thing this year, guys, with as warm as it is, things are starting to germinate really, really quickly, and that includes the weeds. So make sure we get out there and we get our pre's on. Soybeans, kochia, I guess, is a huge problem again this year. Water hemp's going to be an issue again this year. Just get out there and get your pre's on. If that means you got to stop for a day or you have to hire it out, I would do it. Get your pre's on because that's going to help us on the post end because we're going to have a lot of stuff ready at the same time for post applications. So let's get in front of that. And then same thing, 2 to 3 days. The way this stuff is germinating and moving and going to pop out of the ground, I think we have that 2 to 3 day window after planting where we seriously need to consider getting those pre's on that soon.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. With this soil temperatures where they are, everything's coming up.
Yeah, everything is going to come up great, I think. Honestly, if we do catch that rain on Wednesday and it's nothing, quarter inch or a half inch, I think it'll soak in really quickly and guys will get going again. But that's just going to make the germination process speed up even faster. So I think it's just a matter of trying to stay on top of everything. And I know it's a lot, but these guys can do it. They're multi-talented.
Yeah, for sure. With some of that earlier stuff that got put in, any emergence issues or anything like that?
Well, some of my reps have a few concerns, but they, stuff is just popping now. So they're going to be watching. We did turn cool after that early bout of planting, but I'll be honest, I don't think we got that cold. We did catch the rains, but our temperatures were still up in the 60s. So I'm not overly concerned about it, but we'll definitely be paying attention to that first planted stuff.
You getting any questions on maturities if people should be changing yet?
Before we got rolling, there was lots of questions on maturities. Should I be earlying up? Should I be lating? And I told most guys, whether it's corn or it's soybeans, if you're planting for your maturity zone already, I would not even consider doing any type of earlying up until we hit like the 25th of May. If we hit the 25th of May, then that's when you probably want to consider earlying up to an earlier maturity. But until then, we know we can make it. I had some late seeded stuff that was still the full maturity being planted on June 5th, more so soybeans than corn. But I'm not overly concerned about that. I think we worry a little bit too much about it, but as long as we are not pushing our maturities and trying to plant an 88 day in a zone that's more 85, I don't think we need to worry about oiling up.
What about varieties or availability?
So we have availability, especially as things get going and rolling around here. Obviously, in season stuff always comes available. So whether it's corn, it's soybeans, it's canola, or it's sunflowers, call your sales rep, because we have supply. We will do everything we can to get supply to that rep in time for you to get it in the ground. So just pick up the phone and call and ask the questions.
All right. Any final thoughts, Kristie, before we send everybody back?
Everyone's rushing. I know it's that time of year, but take a little extra time to pay attention to your surroundings, pay attention to what's going on in your own fields. If you're on the road, pay attention to the other vehicles. They don't always pay attention to us. So just want everyone to stay safe and us to get through the planting season and everyone make it home okay.
All right. That's Pioneer Field Agronomist Kristie Sundeen. We're here on the Pioneer Agronomy Update. I'm Randy Koenen.